heck now? Let me refresh. Okay, good. All right, so we're making a baby girl's onesie kind of thing. It's like a tutu. I'm trying to get the light to be really, there we go. There we go. Awesome. Okay. I'm trying to make sure the light, you guys can see it because it's kind of dark in my office. So, okay, that looks so much better. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to make a onesie outfit with a double ribbon tutu. So you're going to need a onesie. I did this off of HTV. I went ahead and got it all cut out. I do not have a silhouette or a cameo or what's the other one called? Cricut. I don't have one of those machines. I have a Graphtec 6000 or something like that. So I can do like banners and stuff, but I don't do it for that. I do it for this stuff and bigger things, obviously. But and I print a lot of my patterns out on there. Okay, so what you're going to need is a onesie, any kind of design you want. We're going to make ours Christmas themed, so that's what I have. So I have my onesie. This is going to be for a 6 to 9 month old. So that's what I have here. I'm going to have my elastic. This is a 1/4 of an inch knit elastic. I like to use this one here. It's nice and soft. You're going to need some kind of marking tool, a rotary cutter of some sort. I have 2 different ones here. I'm just going to show you the difference between the sizes. You're going to need ribbon, a big amount of ribbon. I just get this in bulk from Paper Mart is where I get mine from. And then tulle. So the tulle dimensions and everything like that we'll cover here in just a minute. How much ribbon we're going to need is determined of how much tulle we're using. So I'm going to go ahead and take everything else that I don't need out the way. Oh, you're going to need your acrylic ruler. I've got this, I got it at the hardware store. It's for like laying tile or something. It's really cool. It's really tight and suction cup really good, so it makes it really easy to use my acrylic ruler. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to take my onesie, put it aside, even though it's super cute. I'm going to take everything else to the side, and we're going to measure out our tool. Sorry for the noise, y'all. Gets a little noisy. Okay, so what we're going to do is, this is the tulle, right? So I want to have it to be 4 layers. So I'm going to end up folding this in half, sewing it, and after I sew it, then I trim it down to the size I want it. It's a little excess, but I find that I get the best result this way. So if you're, wanting to do this out of 2 cuts, you can do that. I find that it's not really much of a difference, because once tulle is like separated from itself in the packaging, you can't do nothing with it anyway. So that's what I'm going to say. All right. So because it's 4 layers thick, this is going to be for a size 6 to 9 month old baby. I want 6 yards. It seems like a lot. 6 yards of tulle. And then I'm going to do the casing and everything else like that and show you how to do everything else. So 6 yards. This particular rotary mat of mine is 24 inches. So it's not exactly a yard per each one, but I'm going to do 2 of these per yard. I know it's a little excess, but that's kind of like what I do, is just as quick. So that was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So since I wanted to double, I'm going to go to 12. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this here. So I don't have to use a rotary cutter for this portion of it. For this portion, you could just literally, I'm going to move my little pins out the way so I don't knock everything over. These are my new pattern weights that I got in. Miss Hillary did an amazing job the other day. She actually, like, almost like wrapped them up in like these little weight pocket things. I like my tutus to be very fluffy. Fluffy tulle tutus. Okay. So that's it in its all its glory. So I'm going to move you over to, oh, I've knocked the thing over. I'm sorry. Good thing I can see this on the other camera because I was like, I can't believe I did that. Should I do? There we go. Okay. So I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine and we're going to get it sewn up. So I leave it the way it is now. I don't try to fold it over just yet because it's just too much to handle right now. So just leave it like this. I have a chair that sits next to me when I'm sewing, and that's where I'm going to put my tool. So I'm going to move everything over. I don't have an assistant today, so bear with me. I'm going to literally take all of this tulle and just lay it, folding it back and forth like this on a chair next to me. I do it a little bit backwards than some people do it. Some people do the ribbon first, like they literally cut this down, then they do the ribbon, and then they do the casing, where I do it a little differently. I have found that it's the easiest way to do it, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, so move all this stuff back over here, get my ribbon close by. All right, guys, bear with me for just a second because I'm literally going to put the camera down, switch the angles, and then come back. So, again, bear with me. So you guys should be able to see my, I don't know what it is about this angle, but you guys get really close. You guys get super close to this angle, so I have to just kind of adjust it a little bit. There we go. Is that pretty good for you guys? I think it is. I think it is. And you guys want to kind of see what I'm doing on the machine more than anything else. So there we go. Okay. Okay, so I've already threaded my machine. I've already changed my needle. I've done all that already. Okay. So, yeah, you guys can see pretty good. Can you guys see pretty good? I think you can. All right. I'm gonna put my snips up here. Good. I have a box on the other side over here where it's gonna catch the tool, and then when I start picking it back up, you'll see how I do that really fast. Now, this is a quick tidbit, quick tip. Sweep up your area really well because tool is gonna get in everything, and I mean everything. There's not gonna be a little piece of lint or anything that you're not gonna, it's gonna pick up everything. So every piece of dust or thread, anything like that, it's gonna get it. So I'm letting you know, just in case I had to go around for a second and kind of move the lights around a little bit so I can have you guys see everything. I'm gonna put you guys over here on my side so I can see what you're seeing. You're right over here. So on the camera, you're over here. Hopefully you guys can see that. You're like right over here. Can you see that? Yeah, good. Okay. Hold my chair up next to me. All right. So if you have any stray little pieces of dust or anything like that, it's going to get caught up in the tool. So we're going to get the beginning of the tool. So this is the beginning of the edge of my tool. I've put it on my lap right now. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold it in half. I feel like I should put you guys a little further away because you can't quite see everything. So I'm going to fold it in half like that. So I fold it in half. So you guys can't see what's over here. That's what's gonna perturb me a little bit. All right, so because my casing is 3/4 of an inch, I'm doing my casing itself at 1 inch. So I'm lining up to the 1 inch mark here. All right, let me see if I can get you guys. There we go. So I'm lining up to the 1 inch mark here, the edge of the fold right up against this mark here. I'm having a stitch length of 5. I'm trying to see, it's not really sewing through right now, so I'm trying to figure out what it's doing. I think my bobbin might be too tight. So I've been working with mostly bags of late, so I had to change all the configuration on the machine to do lighter kind of stuff, lighter thread stuff. So right here you want to make sure, okay, yeah, it's good, it's pulling good. All right, line up to that 1 inch mark. If you need a piece of like washi tape or something like that, you can definitely use that right there. I just put my pin there so I can go through. I'm not too worried about what's happening on this edge over here because I'm going to be trimming it off anyway. So I'm going to just make sure this is nice and flat and I'm not getting any weird puckering. So I started folding it and then it's just continuing to fold on its own. So my biggest thing is I want to make sure that the distance between this folded edge down is at least 6 inches, because for the 6 to 9 month, that's all you really need. So if I put my ruler here, 6 inches is about right here. So I'm guessing you guys can, yeah, you can see that. So it's 6 inches is about right here. So anything past that, it's going to get cut off anyway. So I'm not worried about this not being matched up over here on this side. When you do it the other way around and you do the ribbon first, then yes, you have to make sure that it's lined up because then it's not going to lay properly. But because I am having such a small tutu, I don't have to do that. And what I'm doing at the bottom down here is I'm literally folding it a little bit prior to feeding it through and making sure it's nice and flat. I had a metaphor earlier today with one of my private lessons with a lady who was doing some binding on a quilt. And when it comes to binding, you can't pin it. So I told her it's like eating a cake, whole cake. You got to take a little bit at a time, right? So it's the same thing I'm doing here. I'm taking a little bit at a time and making sure it's feeding through nice and evenly. Again, making sure it's nice and over there. Good. And it's falling into the box on the other side. I'm loving it. Perfect. Good. I swept up really good before I started. So just to let you guys know, in preparation for my lives, I literally have to spend like an hour normally making sure all my lighting and everything is like cleaned up and everything is done ahead of time so I can go live and not waste y'all's time doing stuff that you don't want to know about. I hope you guys are having a good Sunday. I wanted to have an earlier live today like I did last week, but I wasn't able to because I was literally booked up all morning. It's a good thing to have. It's a good problem to have, believe me. I was booked up all morning. So all of my slots were used up today. So I didn't really get a chance to do anything. See, I mean, every little piece of dirt or lint gets caught up in there. So let me get that little piece out because it's going to drive me crazy. It's in the casing, so it's going to drive me crazy. All right, so just keep going all the way to the other end. I'm about halfway done at this point. I'm not so worried about keeping this so flat and stretched out. It's not that big of a deal. You just want to make sure the casing, oops, sorry guys, I bumped my head. You want to make sure the casing is good and lined up there. I just want to make sure if I have anybody asking any questions. Okay, good. Just in case, because in case you have any questions, you can just, I think the chat is on. So, yeah, you guys can chat if you want to. Ask any questions. I'll look over every so often if you need anything. I try to have you guys learn a little bit every time I do something. Okay. I'm sorry if I'm knocking into you every so often. I have the camera right here next to me, and I'm not used to it like being like literally on top of me. And then on top of that, it's the charging cord is attached to it because I forgot to charge it the whole morning, knowing I was gonna do this, and I forgot to charge it. So I have it plugged in because I don't want to lose power halfway through the tutorial. trying to give you guys vertigo with all the vibrating. Okay. All right, let's see here. We're getting there. We're almost there, guys. Woohoo! Okay. Over there. Over there. My ring got caught in the tool, which happens a lot, unfortunately. My ring gets caught on a lot of things. But it's okay. I get used to it. So I tell most people when it comes to sewing straight lines, you just want to keep your eye on one particular area and not worry too much about what's happening with the needle itself. Just sew everything nice and flat. Okay, now this is starting to get kind of small. So right here, this is getting pretty small and I'm starting to get a little concerned. So let me stop myself. Constriction. 6. So yeah, we're so good. We're so good. I'm gonna try to manipulate it a little bit wider though. Getting, oops, sorry guys. Making it a little wider every time. I'm just underneath taking the bottom layer and just taking it just a little bit at a time. Because if you do too much at once right here, it kind of curls in on itself. And you can't tell as much with the bulk if there's a little bit of a twist in it, but if there's a big twist in it, you can tell. So I don't want the big twist in it. I just want a little bit. So see, I don't know if you guys can see that, but now look how much distance I have. If you needed to have the full length of this, when you folded it in half, you can take more time to really make sure everything's nice and even as you're moving along. But like I said, mine's not that particular, so I can get away with it because I'm going to be trimming it up. If you pre-trim it to the size that you need, it's a little harder to do that. And what I mean by that is if you needed yours to be 6 inches, right, from the fold down, you needed it to be 6 inches or 9 inches, and you would cut it at 18 or 12 depending on your size, because when it's flat without the fold, you needed, when it folded over, obviously it's in half. So if I did mine, let's say 18 inches, I cut it exactly at 18 inches, and then I have to fold it and exactly get it folded on itself like that, then you run into the problem of having to have everything match it perfectly. Whereas right now I don't have to. All right, so there it is, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna bump you guys out just a little bit. Sorry guys, I want you to see what I'm doing. There we go. Now you can see more of what I'm doing. All right, that's much better. Sorry, guys. I wanted you guys to see what I'm doing now. All right, so I'm going to get my clippies, and this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take my fold right here. All right, so this is my fabric, my tool, and I'm just going to fold it on itself and making sure to line up the folded edge right here, and just clip every so often, not all the time. I'm just doing it so that I can keep control of the fold right here and fold it on itself. And I guess about every like 4 turns or something you can clip it. I just want to keep everything kind of together. So right here, I want to make sure I'm lining up my folds. Lining up the fold. Lining up the fold. It's very tedious, this part, but it makes a huge difference. This is why I do my cutting after I've sewn my casing, and I add my ribbon after I do my casing. Makes everything more consistent. And if you're not perfect at doing straight lines right now, it's okay. You know, keep practicing and, you know, you'll get it. Takes practice for everybody. All right, so right here, this one here is just kind of like doing something kind of lucky. There we go. Now, when I did that, I bumped this over, so I'm going to re-put this back on. It's a lot of fabric, guys. It's a lot of fabric. So it was, let's see, 24 times 12. Somebody do math for me. I don't know how many inches that is right now off the top of my head. I've been here all day. I'll put it in the description box below after I finish today, because let me see here. So 24 times 12, 288 inches. Which is about 8 yards. So there you go. If you buy your tool by the yard, it's 8 yards. If you're just doing one to kind of experiment and you don't want to buy an entire bolt. So what I'm doing with this now, right, is what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up cutting through all this tulle. Depends on how thick it gets, because it's kind of getting thick there, so I may have to see what I can. It's like rolling up a big blanket. Might need extra hands for this. All right, so that's what we got. You guys can see that? Perfect. All right, so instead of moving my camera, I'm gonna move my cutting thing, my cutting mat, which is great. If you don't have a rotary cutter, you can definitely do this with scissors, but I wouldn't roll it up this thick. I would do it a lot less thicker. Okay, so if you were going to do this without a rotary mat, then I would suggest you're going to have some kind of tool to mark it with and then cut it with scissors. I'm not doing that. All right, so I'm going to be 6 inches from the edge here. So I'm going to mark 6 inches. There we go. Right about there. So if I cut right here at 6 inches, that's what it's going to be. And then with the ribbon, it's going to be more. I'm going to bump this to about 8 inches. That's why I said I could definitely get away with that right there. So right here is going to be 8 inches. Right here is my seam line. And this is not going to be like completely accurate, obviously, because this is folded plenty of times, but it's a good amount. So I'm going to take my ruler on this side, hold it down here. I hope you guys can see past my arms. And then I'm going to hold it down. That's why this is really good. And going to hold it down. And then cut through. This one here is a 60 millimeter blade, so it's thicker. There we go. We're getting through it. Yay, we did it. So, I mean, you could do something with this, but I'm not. So now you have it that the distance from here to here is pretty accurate. It's nice a clean cut, so that way you don't have to try to keep it nice and lined up and fold it. All right, so let's get moving to our ribbon. Okay. There we go. Ribbon time. So I decided I wanted a red and green ribbon. Red and green ribbon. For mine, I'm going to have the red ribbon be at the bottom underneath this green ribbon. So I'm going to do the red ribbon first, and then I'm going to do the green ribbon. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tuck this up underneath, like on my lap, and then here's my ribbon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up. Okay, so you have a left and a right. This is going to drive me nuts. Snip your tails. Okay, so you're going to have a left and you're going to have a right. So when this goes down over each other, this is going to be underneath, this is going to be on top. You see that? So I want this ribbon, when it comes over here, to be pretty side up. So when I open this, right, and I have my ribbon is going to go underneath this right here. Okay, so that when it goes over here, it's pretty side. This also helps you keep an alignment as to where the ribbon's going to go. So what I'm doing now is I'm matching up the edge of this tulle about 1/4 of an inch, or the width of the presser foot length on the ribbon. So it's just overlapping by a little bit. And the other side, I'm going to do it opposite. I'm going to actually have it that it's very close to the edge so that it looks staggered. Okay. If you didn't have coordinating bobbin thread here, this is where you would really want to make sure you have coordinating bobbin thread. And you're just lining it up, holding it, and going. Opening it up, lining it up, and go. Opening it up, lining it up. If I wasn't filming, I'd already be done. I don't know what it is about filming. It takes twice as long to do anything when I'm on camera. But it's okay. That's all right. So this is a double satin ribbon that I'm using. So it's double-sided satin ribbon. If I was using a single-sided ribbon, I am going to be sewing on the wrong side. So in case you do, by mistake, get a single-sided ribbon instead of double-sided ribbon, this is going to be wrong side out. because our pretty sides are facing down. I've been meaning to experiment and see if I can do this with organza. Oh, I would love to do it with organza. I think it'd be really cool. So right here, I got to kind of like a jagged edge where it kind of jets out a little bit. And that happens sometimes when you're working with tulle. And it's folded and folded and folded. I'm just snipping it so it's even. Just taking off that little edge. Put that in the trash. And make sure it ends up in the trash. If you do coordinating thread, it's a little bit more forgiving. It's a little more forgiving when it comes to having to be precise when you're sewing. Now, if you're catching us live, don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps a lot, especially the likes, because the likes has people, and it comes up on people's feeds a lot faster if they're looking for something that runs within my genre, then it will pop up for them faster if I have more likes. It's not necessarily the amount of views. It's more about the likes. That's the algorithm for YouTube. It's all about the likes and the hearts. Oh, ran out of bobbin. So see how it started doing that? I just ran out of bobbin. That's not a big deal. I have another one wound. Pop it in there. I'm trying to loosen up my thread here. No, that's not. It's not liking it. Sometimes it doesn't like the dusty bunnies in there. I'm getting it to be looser and looser and looser because it's a little tight. Like I said, I had to reconfigure this to be for ribbon rather than bag making. Yeah, that's much better. It's giving it almost a ruffle effect, which is fine. I'm totally okay with it. I'm not mad at it. I ain't mad at it. You do get a little jagged edges here and there when you have such a bulk of tulle. And you're cutting through it, so you could do smaller bits at a time. Made it a little wider so it's not as thick. You could do that as well. That's totally doable. It's like right in here, it's getting really, really, really tiny. Not sure why that is. I think I know what it is, because the inside was kind of tucked in a little bit. Yeah, it happens. It's going to give it depth. It's so bulk, it's so thick, you're not going to notice a lot of this stuff, so. My niece and her cute little cheeks don't love it. She does doesn't know what's being put on her. She's just like, hey. I made one for Halloween. It was so cute. I posted it on my Facebook page. I don't know how people put pictures on YouTube. And it just has like a caption or whatever. Kind of like Twitter. And it's, people have that all, and I see it, and I'm like, that is super cute. All right, so this is really getting to be too short for me, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it right here. It's just getting way too short. Way too short for me. I only had like that much left. It was just ridiculous short. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that right here. Stitch. Pull it. That's done there. Now this is going to fray. So get out your lighter and burn those edges because it will fray. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. All I'm doing is just putting it back on my lap. Opening it up, putting it back on my lap. Right here, I'm going to cut my extra thread when I run out of bobbin. And I changed my bobbin. There we go. Take that thread. Super excited. Open it back up because it's important that it's opened again. Phew. Right. Snip that. Make sure it goes in the trash. And burn your edges. Catches on fire, just put it out. All right, so we're going to do this side now. So remember how we said when this goes like this? This is now going to be the right side. So we have to do a little thinking ahead here, okay? I have done this in the past. I'm not immune to it, where I inadvertently put this like this, and you saw the tool on this side. It wasn't the end of the world, but it was a pain in the butt. So I now, ahead of time, kind of hold it like this, and I kind of like clip it for a second, right? And then I go like this, and I flip it over. Do what you have to do to make sure it's right. Okay? Do what you need to do, y'all. Y'all. Serious. All right, so this one here, I'm going to make sure it's almost to the edge of the green ribbon, and I'm going to sew right against this edge here. Okay? So now this is where I'm going to really make sure that my stitching is consistent with the ribbon. Because you are going to see that stitch on the other side. Welcome to the other side. I don't know what it is about that song that sticks in my mind every time I say the other side, but it does. Some people go back through and trim this. I'm not sure if I'm going to or not. It just depends on how I feel that day. It's just a preference. I want to get a bar that's removable to go up underneath here so I can put this under my table and it just comes undone as needed. And it's straight. You know, so it's not at an angle, but I'll have it one day. I'll do it one day. It's so funny, my chair keeps squeaking every so often. And it sounds like someone's over here, but it's not. Am I grainy to you guys? Because on my feedback it looks like it's grainy, but I think that's because of I changed my settings the other day. Because I was flying to Fort Myers really fast. Literally for a day trip. And I changed the settings to be like low pixels or something like that, because I wanted to download things pretty fast, just to kind of have like a music playlist going in my ear while we were flying. So I think that's why it's showing up kind of grainy on my side, but hopefully it's not on your side. Hopefully you guys can see it really well. But if it's grainy, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'll trim that part up here in a second. You kind of want that a little bit longer. These tutu skirts are very forgiving. Because they have so much volume in them for such a tiny little thing. I caught it. That's usually why I try to put my finger in it and then unroll it, because it starts flying. The velocity, it just starts flying. I got off just a little bit with my stitches. Okay. Like I said, it's very forgiving. Yeah, I got a little small here at the end. I got a little excited with the whole the rotary cutter thing. Usually I do it in like 2 or 3 sections. It's not as bulky, but it's okay. I mean, look at that cuteness. Look at that. So when it lays over, it'll just peek through. So now we're going to do the elastic. And then we're going to thread it all through. So isn't that so cute? All right, so I'm going to grab my elastic. And then we're going to need our safety pin. I think I forgot to mention that. We're going to need a safety pin. And then you can use 2 safety pins here, or you can do something to clamp onto the fabric so that it doesn't undo itself. So here's my elastic. I'm going to take out just a couple. I don't like to take it out of the whole packaging because then it's always messed up. It gets caught in everything. Just undo a couple little loops. There we go. So for a 6 to 9 month old baby, I like this to be, I think it was like 18 inches. That's the waist I like to have it at. Right about there. Let me cut it, and then I can give you guys an exact measurement, because I do it by eyeball. Yeah, 18 inches. So this is 18 inches. Okay. So you're going to take it, pin it through one side like this. This side here, I either like to pin it to myself or pin it to, this is a safety one that locks in place so you can't undo it, which is really good. I like to use this one when I'm threading it through. So go through one of the open ends. Doesn't matter which one at this point. Oh, let me fire up that edge. There you go. Okay, so this end here, I'm going to open it up and I'm going to attach it to the end here so it doesn't get sucked in. Okay, make sure it's nice and even and thread it through. All right, guys, this is where you just, most of the time when I do this, I'm in the car waiting for my kids to get out of karate. So projects like this, I literally take with me to just finish at home or something like that. That's usually why I do this, because it's just repetitive when it's something you could do without really thinking about it. What plans do you guys have for the holidays? Do you have anything special planned? Let me know. I like to hear from you guys in the comments, by the way. And I always respond. So that's good. So we're having a Christmas dinner in a couple of weeks. A family Christmas dinner where we do every year. A different member of the family hosts it, and it's not on Christmas, it's a couple weeks before Christmas, which most people are able to kind of get like a long weekend off, because it's a Friday and Saturday, and then we all fly back Sunday or drive back Sunday. So we get there Friday, usually after work, you know, and then we do like a meet and greet, and then on Saturdays it's when we really get together and do something. We usually get together with some kind of a local charity, and we do something for the community. Then we have our Christmas dinner, and we all have Secret Santas. I'm not going to say who mine is. But we all have Secret Santas. We all picked out names the year before. Last year we weren't able to do it because of COVID, so we had to postpone everything for this year. So we still have the same names from last year, so that's a good thing. So my Secret Santa person usually gets something handmade from me and something store-bought, you know, like a gift card plus, you know, a handmade item. I love making things for people. That's how I show my love. Okay, I'm going to keep doing that all the way. And you see how tight that's getting and how cute? So as I was saying, it says it's so forgiving. It really, really is. It's so forgiving. It's amazing. I love these things. It's not hard to make. I think I've been on here for about 45 minutes so far. Sewing straight lines. Sewing 3 straight lines. And butchering the cutting. There you go. I'm coming close to the end. I can see the end of the tunnel. I can see the light. There we go. Super excited because I'm going to start recording the videos for the beginner sewing course that I've been working on for the last year. I've got everything written up and scripted. I've got all the pattern pieces already kind of like made up and put into the PDF file, and all I gotta do is combine it all. So I'm almost done. Almost done with the beginner sewing course. I'm super excited about that. All right, so let me get this kind of freed up from this here. There we go. I just wanted to make sure it's not twisted in any way. Okay. There we go. Oh my goodness, look at that. It's going to be a cute little thing. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, and then we'll just have it that overlaps in the back a little bit. Perfect. All right, so now what we're going to do here, right, it doesn't have to be, I like to do the 18 inches and then cut it back a little bit because that's about the waist of a tiny little baby. So we don't want it to be squeezing into it so it's so tight, but this elastic is it's very soft. It's almost like pajama elastic. So I'm going to pull it. And if you have the person with you, you can always wait to do this part last if you're close to the person who you're going to give it to, so you can kind of double check that it's going to fit them before you cut anything. But this is like the 4th one that I've made for her, and I already kind of know, like I said, just by the feel of it. It's kind of like when you've been cooking and you have a recipe that you've been using forever in the day. Just getting rid of my threads. And you know. And you know exactly how much to put in of everything without actually measuring things out. It's kind of like that. So now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of like divvy up the elastic every which way. Look at that. I told you, little pieces of thread get caught up in this. And I still have twice. And I still have little pieces of thread. Look at that. Super, 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 super cute. And then we got these little pieces that stick out a little bit, and just trim it. Just trim out whatever's sticking out from the green. It is super cute. I love it. Love it, I love it, I love it. The cute's getting caught in my needle over here. Look at that. Can you guys see that okay? Kind of. All right, hold on. I'm going to unplug it for a second because it keeps running out. There we go. trying to get so you guys can see it. It's super cute. Super, super cute. All right, so we got the onesie. So there's the onesie with the tutu. I mean, it's super cute. Okay, so there it is, all done. All done, all done, all done. Okay, get like, there we go. Ah, super cute. All right, can you guys see it? Perfect. Okay, so that's the tutu outfit. So her little body's gonna go in there. Gonna be cute. Super, super cute. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it helped you with something that you were looking to get some creative ideas. If you have any little babies in your family, it's very easy. Once you get the hang of it, you can knock one of these out in like 30 minutes. Worst case scenario, an hour, right? And I did it in an hour while I was recording. So there you go. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, a like, share it through social media, and let people know about it. I really appreciate everything. Hope you guys have a great week. And if I don't see you before the holidays, happy holidays. Bye.